What we do in our part of Family Search is we have volunteers who go into the counties to talk to the county to digitize their records. So once we get in there, and Brown County is one of the counties on my list. Once we get in there, we're able, hopefully, if we can get through the county and district clerk and they give us permission, we will go in and digitize all of their public information records. So whatever was there of your grandfather or the daughter he was living with, you'd be able to pick up more records that way. But Brown is one that we really have not done a lot in. So, and I'm trying to think back. I think we were there possibly in the 70s and got some records. So
my mother's brother, when he was alive, did a driving trip through Texas and stopped in several places. And basically his response was, all the courthouses in Texas burned to the ground and nobody has any data. So that was his experience at the couple places that he looked. And I have to say, nothing I found online proves him wrong.
Oh, gee. Well, we do have a lot. We have a bunch of record scouts in Texas where they're all going out doing the same thing that James and I are doing, trying to get those records into Family Search so that people like you can find them. I had a similar situation with my father's family. Knew nothing at all about them because when my dad was less than 2 years old, his father died. They were in a much different part of Texas. My grandmother didn't know anything about them. At least I knew the last name. That was about it. So come to find out, they started, I was listening to you thinking, oh my gosh, maybe she's related to me. But we started in Mississippi instead of Kentucky. But it was the same thing. You come to Texas and they were here, then Oklahoma, then back to Texas. And if you don't have those records, and this is one of the things that we try to get the clerks to understand, these records are valuable to people, even those clerks that have their records already up on their website. You would first have to know which county they were in, and you would have to know the name of the people who you're looking for. I didn't know anything but a last name. So what we do, what Family Search does is absolutely so valuable. We do this free of charge to the counties. We'll go in and digitize their records, whereas they would have to pay another company to come in and do the same thing. We do that for free. We open up Family Search and all of our records to people all over the world for free. So it's a wonderful thing to do. You may come to think of it, if you emailed the Brown County clerk and said, I'm trying to get information, are y'all not on Family Search? I'll call her back and see if we can't coordinate that.
I will work on that. I kind of took a detour and started entering all the cousins I could find, and this was quite a prolific family. I haven't even been able to go back to the Roberts generation because I've now got 11,000 people in my tree. And it's just been crazy.
Wow.
But I haven't found anybody that I've reached out to that knows anything. So.
Well, and that's the sad part, because what happens is the people who knew something pass on, and more, I think things are turning around. But I know in my family, as an example, I'm the only one who cares about family history. So I imagine that happens throughout other families as well. And you just lose so much valuable information.
Yeah, I kick myself all the time for not thinking about this when all my older aunts and uncles were still alive. And I'm lucky that I still have my mother. She didn't know much. Again, her father. At least, I mean, I got her DNA, and that was a much better match. If I'd have only gone with mine, I wouldn't have figured it all out.
Wow. That's great. We had another person join us. Hello.
Hey, Martha.
Hi there, Martha Schriffler. I'm in Austin.
Schreffler, German name?
Yeah.
I used to work with several Germans, and one was Scheffler, not Schreffler.
Oh.
But so I'm guessing that they're about the same.
Yeah,
Well,
it's spelled a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. So what can we do for you today? We're pretty much happy to chat with you about what you might be interested in and see if it relates to what we're doing.
I was just coming to hear your presentation. I was in
Okay.
another room. They finished, and so I moved.
Oh, fabulous. Well, we don't have a formal presentation, but let me tell you a bit about what we're doing. Both me and Stephanie are volunteers with FamilySearch, and we have around the state about 10 right now volunteers, and our efforts are to go into, principally we go to the counties. So we go to the county clerk and the district clerk, but we'll go to other repositories where we might find genealogically significant records and try to gain access to those records, either if they've got them digitized, get access to those records. If they haven't been digitized, offer them to do the camera work to digitize them for them. And that then is an effort we take those records and we make them then available on FamilySearch. So it allows us to expand the database for people who are doing their family history. And I think we gathered up about 1.5 million records last year in Texas, and we're working on doing better this year. But it's an interesting process to go and get to know the various clerks and their staffs, and the fun thing about it is then you get to know them and they become your family. And in particular, if you're in Michael Bauer's room on the camera capture, the people who do the camera capture, we might be there for a month or so getting to know the clerks and so forth. Those camera people be there for months and months and months on a daily basis, and they almost become part of the staff until they go, and the relationship that gets built with those camera crews is really fun. And so that's about what we're doing. And so if you happen to know anyone who, if you happen to have, contacts in the Travis County Clerk's office that you can help us to build those relationships, or any of the other clerk's offices around the state, or the historical societies or commissions, we'd love to coordinate with you to kind of find new opportunities to chase down some more records.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, it sounds like a good project. I'm a person who's been doing all my genealogy by myself. So I just recently joined the Williamson County Genealogical Society.
Okay.
But so, yeah, and I'm sheltering in place still for grandchildren. So going anywhere like a clerk's office, it's not on my schedule for a while, but it sounds like a great project. We
just yesterday actually made some progress in Williamson County.
Oh, good.
Our records got up there, started to, get some feedback on a relationship he's been trying to build. And a lot of it's a bit trying to, we call it, get past the palace guard, to to get into someone who you can really talk to. Yeah. And they come different ways. It's everything from chocolate chip cookies to emails,
Well, that sounds like a great project. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another room. It's great to see you.
Well, great. Well, good luck in your research.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Betty Fowler has joined us as well. Hello, Betty.
Hello, I had to unmute. I'm also in Williamson County and I'm just joining. So I'll either you can brief me or I can watch the recording later to find out how we know what records haven't been filmed and what we can do.
Well, that's it. Do you search?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So if you search in the catalog, you can pull up Williamson County and you can look at all the records that FamilySearch's acquire, Williamson or any other county for that matter. And that's a lot of where we start. So as we try to now go back into a county for, long before my time, it seems the FamilySearch's predecessor was very active in Texas in the late 70s. And then another push kind of in the 90s. And so we go back in and look at what was acquired and then go and try to, as we can get in the door with one of the clerks, go back and see what records they didn't obtain, what records have become available, because some records are confidential for a certain number of years. And so try to, if we got records up to those cutoff dates, in the 70s, we try to update that and get the next 50 years, and so that's a lot of what we do. And so you can look right now if you want to in each county and see what records we have, and what we're doing is trying to fill in gaps of records that we haven't acquired from them. Does that help?
Yes.
And what we're doing right now in Williamson County is working with them. They already have a lot of their records digitized. And so we're looking to bring their records over to FamilySearch. Once that is completed, at some point, all of that information will be available to you on FamilySearch as well.
That's great. I might see what I could do in some of the other counties around here.
Do you have contacts in those counties in the clerk's offices? Or maybe with the Genealogical Society?
Maybe. We'll find out if they'll be a contact or not.
Awesome.
for something like this.
Well, that's the thing is, if as we find people who are interested, it's nice to get, the Betty Fowler who already has the relationship in touch with our record scout, as we call them, in that area, and then you can help us make introductions, which help. One of the hardest part of the process is just making that connection, and so not to be too forward about it, but if you can help us, we'd love the help.
Absolutely.
All
And we
right.
had Cynthia join
I
us.
joined you a little late because I went to the camera capture team first.
Uh-oh.
But I was
You're supposed
like-
to go in the opposite way because they're much better than we are.
Oh, no, you've already, in the few minutes that I've listened, gotten close to where I want to be. I have a county in Texas where the records were supposedly sent to a repository. Can't find them there. It's by Texarkana, okay?
Okay.
And sadly, the records that I want, they don't want me to find, because my grandfather was charged with murder, and then he was exonerated, but he was definitely on the unpopular side, okay? And so I think the records are in that county, but they're in a basement, and they claim, oh, water damage, fire damage, da-da-da. They won't let us at them. And when we reveal who we are, they certainly won't let us at them.
Interesting.
So I'm looking for friends that can help me. They need to digitalize those records, because there's not only that grandfather, I've got a lot of history in that area that I need the records.
Yeah.
And if they don't get digitalized or found and unearthed before they're totally gone, we'll lose them.
Right.
So suggestions on how I can get friends in the area and get us looking into Texarkana and Bowie County records getting done.
I'll be honest, we've tried in Bowie and haven't had a lot of success.
Yes.
Sure
My daughter
Texas.
and I drove there and tried to, and yeah, it was a wasted day. Yeah.
Now Texarkana, I'm not sure what we've done up there.
Texarkana seems to want to do things. And I was like, well, maybe what we need to do is we need to sell them on the idea of becoming a family affiliate library, because Arkansas is also where my family is. And they like not having their records digitalized, because research into family history is one of their biggest tourist industries. because their records are not available online. So you have to come to Arkansas to get them.
To Arkansas or to Texarkana?
Well, Arkansas is actually Texarkana, right down the middle of
Yeah, right down the middle, right.
Half of it's Arkansas, half of it's Texas. And I looked for my grandparents' wedding records forever in Texas to find out they were in Texarkana, Arkansas.
So they're on the
Okay.
other side of the border.
So where the church they went to, they went across. That's why I couldn't find their records till I was looking for my grandmother's birth in Arkansas.
That's
So, like I said, so that's, I'm like, how do I get this moving forward? I am retired. I'm free to travel. I've done a family book that's not published because I need to finish it. And that means visiting my 50+ first cousins across the nation. I'm from Oklahoma, relocated to Minnesota, currently visiting a son here in Utah. Okay. And I've got about 10 years that I think I can continue getting in that car and going and seeing whoever, wherever, that will move forward, digitalizing the records that are necessary for people to move forward in these areas where, you know, my mother's birth certificate, she got it because her brother-in-law testified to her birth when she went to work for the state of Oklahoma past the age of 60. So, and I remember trying to get Texas records and I get back these pieces of paper that says, well, if you want a birth certificate, fill this out and we'll give it to you. They don't do that anymore. How do we move it forward? How do I find my friends to make that happen?
Well, we just have to keep trying, knocking on the door to see if we can convince the people up in that area to let us look. Have you looked on Family Search to see what records we've already done in Bowie County? And
my daughter is in the last stages of becoming a certified genealogist.
Oh my.
She does DNA extensively. She takes down everybody's brick walls. But if there's no records online and you can't get in locally, that's where she and I are stumped until we find somebody that can help us. And that's why I'm going, the Texarkana Public Library would be very approachable as a Family Search affiliate, and that might be our way in. Yeah.
And that's something and part of what we do is try to get those affiliate libraries set up, but that's, but again, that's building those relationships there and trying to.
Well, like I said, as we searched, they were the most willing to work with us.
Interesting.
Yes.
The good old people in Texas. It's interesting. You would tell us about Texarkana, Arkansas, that when they say that they, and we've had clerks say, we'll lose the revenue, we'll lose because people have to come in and pay for a copy of the records, and our kind of backwards pitch to them is, well, if I get more people who see their names and know that record's in your vault, that if they want a copy, they'll still have to pay you their $20 for it, because we don't sell copies. We just make the information available, and if people want to come a copy, and we've worked with counties on that to say, we'll make the metadata available, and if they want a copy, then they still have to come to you, but at least they'll know that it's Bowie County and not the county next door, or not here or there, because that's the hardest thing is, and as Stephanie said earlier, I don't know if you're on, but if you don't know what county you're looking for, you can't go to what county to go even look on their website that they indicate as public. And so we try, and it's interesting. If their website's set up, we've seen one, our guy at Family Search who helps us, he says, look at this website or search this name, and it's up in West Virginia. He says, when you search there, you're not actually on Family Search anymore. You're on the West Virginia website, but they've interfaced them. And so you as a researcher on Family Search don't even know, but they've just linked to their website, and so if their website's compatible, then they just link in, but every one of them is so different, and that's way beyond my understanding.
Cynthia, one thing that I would suggest, since your daughter is close to being a certified genealogist, she probably has already learned about this, but taking a close look at the Texas Public Information Law might help you as well. because some information has to be open to the public. So even if it's in a basement somewhere, but they have it, they have to send somebody down there to find it for you. So look into State of Texas Public Information Act.
That's one of the things that she has done. And she says they have to give this to us. But at this current time, because of where she is in her schooling, that takes priority.
Oh, sure.
So when she gets her certification, she feels that then she will have that piece of information that says, I'm not just an individual, I'm a person that knows what I'm doing. So don't just blow me off. And so that's where we're going, but we're having to be patient, because while I started this quest many, many years ago, thankfully she's younger and she's taking it up.
Awesome.
We've got Christian's iPads joined us. Wonder if Christian's behind their iPad.
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm still on my PJ, so I have my camera off.
That's okay.
I was just popping in to see what we had going here.
Excellent. Stephanie, go ahead.
We are the record scouts in Texas for Family Search. And what we do is go and find and try to obtain the records that you need to find on Family Search. So as an example, where are you located?
I am in Seminole, Texas.
Seminole, that is also out my way because that's in West Texas. And I
Yes,
lived
ma'am.
in Midland. So know all
Yep,
about
winds
Seminole.
blowing and yep.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
so what we'll do, and that is Gregg County? Which county
Gaines.
is that? Gaines, I knew it was a G. So Gaines County, we would go, we've not done a lot in West Texas. We would go into Gaines County to talk to the county clerk and the district clerk. And we would find out from them if we could come in and digitize their records. I don't believe in Gaines County we've ever been there, so that would be, we would go in with our camera for free and we would digitize all of the public records that would end up being on Family Search for people to find, regardless of if you're in Arkansas or Houston or Singapore. And so that's what we do. We actually scout out those areas where there are records we don't have in Family Search, and we go and try to get those. We digitize free of charge all of the information that we're looking for, as opposed to the county having to go out and pay a lot of money to another firm to come in and do that. So one of my first questions, because Gaines County is so small, do you know the county clerk by any chance?
I don't. I'm kind of a transplant. We're in the cotton business, and so this is not my home place, and I don't have any ties here, any history here as far as where my people come from.
Gotcha. Well, what we would do is, if you were, let's just pretend you were, then at this point we'd say, hey, how can we get in touch with you to see if you can help us get in there? But regardless of where you're looking, what areas are you in Texas are you looking at? What counties?
Oh, geez. There's so many. Rusk County, Lipscomb, and Hemp Hill.
Okay.
So many, you know.
I'll just use Rusk County as an example. So when you go into Family Search and you go to the catalog and you search for Rusk County, what you can find, what kind of records they already have. Those records were photographed, digitized by Family Search in whatever year, let's say 1970. And now they're made available to you regardless of where you are in the world. So that's what we do as scouts. We go out and scout kind of like on an old fashioned wagon train. We scout for records and then go in and have the relationships with the people who are holding those records so that we can then get them into Family Search and make them available to you. That's what we do.
Very good.
You bet.
I appreciate that.
It makes family history a lot easier when you can sit behind your computer and find the records, as opposed to Cynthia was talking before about having to drive to a county. And in the old days, that's what you had to do, is you had to go in person. So what we're doing is we're trying to do that work for you.
Would it be beneficial to you guys, even though I don't have any ties here? How do you get in touch with the county clerk and just tell her, hey, you know, what have y'all done? What have you not done?
That would be awesome. And
Okay.
you could even ask if we could call. I'm going to put my email address in the chat
Okay.
so that you have that. And if you are able to make any headway, just give me an email, give me a shout, and I will get right up back to you.
Okay. Yeah, I may just talk to him, just because I think it's important to get the information out for everybody. Even though I don't have ties here, if somebody hadn't done that for me, you know, where I needed it, I wouldn't have the information I have. So I'll be more than happy to just see if I can get in touch with them and see if they're interested, and send them your way.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate
You
y'all's
bet.
efforts.